This video is going to be on causes of lymphopenia, and on the subsequent slides I will go through each one of these causes. Stress lymphopenia is the most common cause of lymphopenia, and it can occur in any stressed or sick animal. It's caused by cortisol release, and cortisol has two effects. First, it calls lymphocytes to the lymph nodes and inhibits lymphocytes from exiting the lymph nodes. So the lymphocytes essentially get sequestered within the lymph nodes. The second effect is that at prolonged or very high doses of cortisol, it can cause lympholysis or lymphocyte cell death. So you can see with just general stress or with Cushing's disease. Other things that you may see that can occur with a cortisol response is a neutrophilia, an eosinopenia, and a monocytosis. And that's on the CBC. On the chemistry, there might be a hyperglycemia or increased glucose concentration. Lymphocytes can be lost from either the GI tract or the thoracic duct. Within the GI tract, there's not only loss of lymphocytes, but loss of other things within lymph. So there's also loss of cholesterol, so you might see hypocholesterolemia. And there's loss of protein, so you might see hypoproteinemia. And if there's GI hemorrhage, you might have evidence of a regenerative anemia on the CBC. The thoracic duct can either leak or it can have some sort of trauma that causes disruption of the thoracic duct, and the lymphocyte-rich lymph fluid can then enter into the thoracic cavity. So you'll have loss of lymphocytes, and because lymph has a high triglyceride concentration, then the fluid within the cavity will look very white, and this is known as a chylous effusion. The chylous effusion, however, doesn't actually cause a lymphopenia unless there's repeated drainage of that chylous effusion. Blocked lymph flow occurs when there's generalized lymphadenopathy. And that means that there's generalized pathology of multiple lymph nodes. So almost all of the lymph nodes have something wrong with them. And usually that's either lymphoma, so multicentric lymphoma, or a systemic granulomatous disease, so like a systemic fungal infection. And in those cases, either the neoplastic lymphocytes or the inflammatory cells efface the lymph node and then blocks that recirculation of lymphocytes. Lymphoid hypoplasia can also occur with generalized lymphadenopathy, and that again, the example there is generalized or multicentric lymphoma, where the lymph node is essentially replaced by neoplastic cells, and then that causes crowding out or death of the non-neoplastic cells. Or you could have some sort of inflammation that effaces the lymph node and not have it actually be neoplastic cells. So they could be some type of inflammatory cells as well. And again, the idea there is that it's crowding out the normal lymphoid cells and causing hypoplasia of those. Aplasia is when the lymphoid tissue fails to develop. So they just, from birth, they just fail to develop. And those occur in cases of severe combined immunodeficiency or other immunologic disorders. These are really rare though, and we're really not going to go in further detail on those diseases.